Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Unsere Sendungen bieten viele Sprachen. Gehen Sie auf suprememastertv.com/schedule.
And now we have even flood, torrential rains and landslides in many places, and the locust disaster in many places, bee declines, also droughts everywhere, and farmers helpless. No one can help them. This is worrisome for our world. Some people worry that due to all this, we will have food shortage.
Extreme weather, the latest global climate disasters, part 2 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
Ciao, amorevole spettatori. I just said hello, loving viewers, in Italian, the official language of San Marino. I'm Alberto. The people of San Marino, thank you for being responsible global citizens in preserving Earth's environment for a better tomorrow. Welcome to part 2 of Extreme Weather, the latest global climate disasters. On today's program, we'll travel to Asia and Europe to learn how these continents have been affected by severe weather events lately. During the 2020 monsoon season, unusually heavy amounts of rainfall caused massive flooding in several countries across Asia, leading to dams collapsing, rivers overflowing their banks, landslides and mudslides. In China, torrential rains during the summer of 2020 caused dangerous flooding in several major river basins, especially around the Yangtze and Yellow rivers. The number of floods in China this year was 60% higher than in previous years, and 77 of the nation's rivers reached record levels. In Japan, during July 2020, a week of torrential rains pounded the southwestern and central parts of the nation, triggering severe flooding and landslides and killing at least 68 people. On August 10, 2020, Korea entered its 49th consecutive day of heavy rains, one of the longest monsoons on record for the nation. The rains caused extensive flooding, landslides and evacuations and killed at least 30 people. Also in 2020, heavy rainfall swept through India and Bangladesh, resulting in widespread flooding, landslides and loss of life. By July 23rd, more than one-third of Bangladesh was underwater and 2.8 million people were affected. In India, the situation was even more dire, as more than 6.8 million people in the nation were affected by flooding. Worst hit were the northern states of Assam, West Bengal, Bihar and Meghalaya. On July 23rd, News Click-In reported the following.
Massive flooding has devastated parts of South Asia, especially in northeastern India and Bangladesh. In the northeastern state of Assam in India, around 113 deaths have been reported so far. While most of these are because of the floods, around 20 were caused by rain-triggered landslides. In Bangladesh, meanwhile, nearly 60 have died. Overall, millions have been affected in these regions.
Animals were also affected by the rains. At Kaziranga National Park in Assam, India, more than 100 animals, most of whom were deer, perished in the flood waters.
According to reports, wildlife is also facing a serious threat in Assam as the Kaziranga National Park is completely flooded. The park is a UNESCO heritage site and it has the largest concentration of single-horned rhinoceros as well as other animals.
In Gandaki, Pradesh in Nepal, at least 126 people lost their lives due to natural disasters such as floods and landslides triggered by the monsoon rains. A heavy monsoon season also caused fatal flooding across Yemen and Pakistan. By mid-June, several hundred people had died, hundreds of others were injured, and hundreds of thousands of homes were damaged or destroyed. In addition, days of heavy rainfall caused flooding in Olak, also known as Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Hundreds of deaths were reported and thousands had evacuated. More severe weather is on its way as more tropical storms are approaching this region. In Siberia, Russia, June temperatures soared to more than 38 degrees Celsius, breaking Arctic temperature records. The sizzling hot weather made the forests tinder dry, and the number of wildfires in Siberia increased nearly fivefold. In June 2020, 1.15 million hectares of forest were on fire, and much of this area was in the northern region of Yakutia.
The following is a summary of extreme weather events and the consequences in Asia from June to November 19, 2020. Typhoon VemNG in the Philippines, Olak also known as Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand had caused at least 69 fatalities and over 970,000 were directly affected. Typhoon Goni in the Philippines, Olak, Laos, and Cambodia had resulted in at least 26 fatalities and over 1 million people had been affected. Typhoon Malave in the Philippines, Olak, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, and Thailand had caused at least 62 fatalities and over 2 million people were affected. Tropical storm Nangka in China, Laos, Thailand, Myanmar, Philippines, and Olak had caused at least 4 fatalities and over 100,000 people were affected. Tropical storm Limpha in Olak and Cambodia had resulted in at least 174 fatalities and over 200,000 people were affected. Tropical storm Naul in Laos, Thailand, Myanmar, Philippines, Olak, and Cambodia had resulted in at least 17 fatalities and 500,000 people were affected. Floods and landslides in Pakistan, Nepal, Turkey, Bangladesh, India, and China had caused at least 2,370 fatalities and over 100 million people were affected. Kyushu floods, Typhoon Maisak, and Typhoon Haishin in Japan had caused at least 84 fatalities and about 5 million people were affected. Typhoon Hagupit, Typhoon Maisak, and Tropical Storm Jangmi in Korea had caused at least 30 fatalities and over 6,000 were affected. Typhoon Hagupit in China and Taiwan, also known as Formosa, had caused at least 1 fatality and thousands had been affected. Flash floods in Yemen had resulted in at least 174 fatalities and about 28 million people were affected.
Climate change has been dramatically affecting all parts of the world. Southern and Central Europe are seeing more frequent heat waves, forest fires, and droughts, while Northern Europe is getting significantly wetter and winter floods could become common. In August of this year, record heat waves swept across European countries. Droughts throughout the region ravaged crops, causing billions of dollars in economic losses. In October 2020, Storm Alex swept across France and Italy, causing devastating landslides and floods. destroying homes, roads, bridges, and other infrastructures, causing power, communication, and running water outages. Coastal areas along the French Riviera were devastated. Long stretches of the normally magnificent beaches, including the beaches of Nice, were littered with storm debris. In the Piemonte region of Italy, flooding caused by Storm Alex cut off several villages, and many roads became impassable. Piemonte President His Excellency Alberto Cirio reported that 630 millimeters or 25 inches of rain had fallen within 24 hours, an amount unheard of since 1954. From June to October 2020, several major floods and landslides swept through other European countries including Georgia, Ireland, the UK, Spain, Greece, Turkey, Bulgaria, Serbia, Romania, Hungary and Ukraine, impacting thousands of people and causing dozens of deaths and enormous economic losses. Ukraine was particularly hard hit.
The following is a summary of extreme weather events and the consequences in Europe from June to November 19, 2020. Storm Alex. Floods and landslides in France, Italy, and Austria had caused at least 14 fatalities and hundreds of people were affected. Storms and floods in Poland and Czech Republic had resulted in at least 3 fatalities and thousands of people were affected. Floods and landslides in Georgia had caused at least 5 fatalities and over 2,000 people were affected. Floods and landslides affected United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, and Greece, and caused at least 11 fatalities and thousands of people were affected. Floods in Ukraine had caused at least 3 fatalities and thousands of people had been affected. Wildfire in Ukraine had caused at least 9 fatalities and hundreds of people were affected.
These extreme events, such as droughts, floods, torrential rains, tropical storms and fires, are all caused by climate change and humans' ignorant actions on the environment and animals. According to numerous scientific studies, the primary cause of climate change is raising livestock animals. This industry, in which more than 70 billion animals are raised each year, is responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than all forms of transportation combined. Scientists recommend that the widespread adoption of a plant-based lifestyle is the fastest way to halt climate change. Supreme Master Ching Hai has also been calling for a global shift to a noble and compassionate vegan lifestyle since the 1980s.
And now we have even floods, torrential rains and landslides in many places, and the locust disaster in many places, bee declines, also droughts everywhere, and farmers helpless. No one can help them. This is worrisome for our world. Some people worry that due to all this, we will have food shortage. We already have anyway. I hope everybody wake up quick, be vegan, to use this compassionate, benevolent, sustaining energy in order to save our people, our world.
May God bless our precious planet Earth. We pray to heaven that all people will quickly adopt a compassionate vegan lifestyle to halt climate change and the resulting severe weather events. Concerned viewers, thank you for your caring company today. Coming up next is Positive Changes in Countries Part 22, Faithful Governments, Faithful Citizens, Taiwan, also known as Formosa, France and Gabon, right after Noteworthy News. May all beings soon live in safety and abundance in a peaceful vegan world.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit SupremeMasterTV.com/schedule and SupremeMasterTV.com/PE.